For 10 years, my sister and I loved the same man. Luke always said he liked girls who were soft, gentle, and nurturing. My sister, Haley, knew how to shrink herself to make him feel big. She possessed an innate, honeyed helplessness. I didn't. I couldn't. Whenever the three of us were together, his eyes and words belonged entirely to her. I sat beside them, as invisible and rigid as a lamppost. On the day we graduated college, they got married at City Hall. So I ran. I packed a suitcase, flew across the Atlantic, and took a full ride for an MBA in London. I spent 4 grueling years building my startup. By year 6, I was ringing the bell on Wall Street as our stock went public. Recently, word reached me that Luke's company was bleeding out. Desperate for capital, he posted on LinkedIn. Big pitch meeting tomorrow with a major investment firm. Wish me luck. Haley commented right below, "Go get him, babe. You're the absolute best." I glanced down at the schedule my secretary had sent me for tomorrow. At 9:30, the founder of a struggling tech startup was coming in to pitch for funding. The name on the ledger read, Luke Davenport, 01. My mother called me, her voice heavy with a frantic, pleading edge. "Lindsay, your brother-in-law is drowning. You have to do something." Do what? His company is in trouble. He's desperate for investors. You spent all those years in Europe. Surely you know people in venture capital. Can't you just make an introduction? She spoke with a jarring lightness, as if she were asking what we should have for dinner. I'll look into it. Don't just look into it, Lindsay. Haley is losing her mind, and honestly, you're 32, unmarried, and entirely alone. What's the point of building an empire if you have no one to share it with? Look at your sister. She married so well. I stared out the window of my office, watching the city lights flicker. Mom, you've been drifting abroad for 6 years. You don't even come home for Christmas. Ever since Haley married Luke, she's been the one taking care of your father and me. What have you done? Mom, I paid for Dad's bypass surgery. Oh, so you wire some money and suddenly you're a saint. $30,000 to buy yourself a clean conscience? Well, Haley spent 7 days and nights sleeping on a plastic chair in that hospital room. Where were you? In London, chasing dollars. I stayed quiet, letting the silence stretch. You've always been like this, competitive, aggressive, always trying to one-up your sister. And for what? Haley has a beautiful family, and you? Drifting alone in your 30s, without a single soul to love you. I looked at Luke's name on the schedule. My finger lightly brushed the glass. Mom, it's almost midnight. Fine. Find you're busy, that you're always busy. Her voice dropped a fraction. Haley wanted me to ask, do you know anything about the firm Luke is pitching tomorrow? What kind of guy the managing partner is, just so Luke can prepare. The partner is me. Yeah, I said quietly. I'll ask around. The moment I hung up, my phone buzzed. It was a voice note from Haley. 36 seconds. She never texts. She only sends voice notes, forcing you to listen to her breath. Hey, Lindsay, Mom called you, right? Luke is under so much pressure lately. He can't sleep. Since you lived abroad for so long, you must know some heavy hitters in venture capital. Can you do some digging for us? A pause, followed by a light, airy giggle. Oh, by the way, what exactly is it that you do now? Is it internet stuff or something? I can never quite remember, haha. 36 seconds. She didn't even know what I did. When my company went public, my full name was splashed across the financial news. She couldn't even bother to Google me. The family group chat was buzzing too. Mom, Luke has a massive meeting tomorrow. Let's all wish him luck. Let's bring this funding home. Dad replied with a thumbs up. Haley, my husband is the best. You've got this. I scrolled through 20-odd messages. Not one of them was directed at me. For 6 years, I have been a ghost in this chat. I read, but I never reply. I tried once. The day we closed our series of funding, I texted, just signed our Series A. Nobody asked what a Series A meant. Haley had simply replied, "Oh, that's cute, Lindsay. Glad your little project is still going. Keep it up." I never posted about my life again. My secretary, Patricia, called through the office line. "Lindsay, the assistant for the 9:30 appointment, just called to confirm. I have their pitch deck. Should I bring it in now?" "Just leave it on my desk." "Will do." Also, his assistant sounded incredibly anxious. Asked if they could meet 10 minutes early. "Tell him to wait in the lounge. We stick to the schedule." "Understood. Anything else you need?" "No. We'll treat this as a standard pitch." 02. "Lindsay, why aren't you replying?" At 7 in the morning, Haley's second voice note blasted through my phone. 42 seconds. "Lindsay, Luke didn't sleep at all last night. I'm literally sick with worried. I know you're busy and you have your own life, but if this pitch falls through, we might have to mortgage the house. And Zoe's preschool tuition for next term." Her voice cracked perfectly on cue. House, daughter, tuition. Every word was a calculated strike, designed to play on family obligation. 10 years. With Luke, she used sweetness. With me, she used tragedy. Those were her only two frequencies. I didn't reply. Driving to the office, the phone rang again. Caller ID, Joyce. My college roommate. We hadn't spoken in over 4 years. "Lindsay? Oh my God, long time no see. I heard you're back in the States." "What made you think of me, Joyce?" "Haha, actually your sister mentioned you at a dinner party a few days ago." "What did she say?" "She said you only moved to London because of a broken heart. That you are secretly in love with her husband, Luke, for 10 years, and when you couldn't get him, you fled the country out of spite." My grip on the steering wheel tightened. Everyone was saying how hard it must have been for you over there. Your sister even said she feels so guilty and that since you're still single, it's probably because you still haven't moved on. "She was crying, wasn't she?" I asked. "How did you know?" "Yeah, she said her biggest regret in life was hurting you, but she also said, well, she said you've always been stubborn and competitive, trying to prove you're better than her. She said she actually feels really sorry for you." Joyce's laugh was light, casual, but every word was a dull blade. Haley, playing the fragile victim, had carefully written my narrative. The pathetic, bitter older sister who failed to get the guy, fled the country in tears, built a career out of desperate spite, and ended up an unmarried, lonely woman in her 30s. 6 years, an IPO on Wall Street, a valuation nearing $1 billion, hundreds of employees worldwide. To her, it was just a bitter spinster running away from a broken heart. What else did she say? She said she felt so bad because you were sobbing at the airport the day you left. I was sobbing at the airport? Yeah, she said. Joyce. Yeah. The day I left, my flight was at 4 in the morning. I took an Uber alone. No one drove me, and no one even knew what day my flight was. Silence stretched on the other end of the line. Including Haley, I continued. She didn't even know what day I was leaving. How could she know if I was crying? Joyce stayed quiet. Then, in a small voice, "So, what have you been doing these past few years?" "I've been, well, busy, running my company." "Your sister said you were running some little Etsy shop or something." "It's not an Etsy shop." I didn't bother explaining further. "Joyce, I'm at the office now. I have to go." "Oh, sure. Let's grab coffee sometime. Your sister said she's been wanting to." "I'm fully booked. Talk soon." I hung up and pulled into the underground garage. I turned off the engine and sat in the quiet. She cried at the airport. She ran away because of a broken heart. She still can't let him go. How many dinner parties had Haley served the story at? How many times had she squeezed out tears to erase 6 years of my blood, sweat, and tears, turning it into a pathetic flight of defeat? My phone buzzed. The family group chat. Haley, Lindsay's back in town, but she won't even reply to my texts. I hope she isn't still mad at me. Mom, you know how your sister is. Don't worry about her. If she won't help Luke, she won't. Let it go. Dad, let's focus on what matters today. Good luck, Luke. They all accepted Haley's version. I was the petty, grudge-holding, unmarried older sister. She was the sweet, long-suffering little sister. The elevator doors opened. Patricia was waiting at the end of the hall. Morning, Lindsay. The investment team pulled some supplementary files on Ignite Tech. Want to see them now? Bring them in. Is the 9:30 meeting still on? Yes. How do you want to handle it? I walked into my office. By the book. It doesn't matter who he is. The numbers do the talking. 03. Lindsay, you there? At 7:23 a.m., Luke's text hit my phone. It was the first time he had messaged me in 6 years. No, how are you? No, it's been a while. He wanted a favor. I'm pitching a firm called Meridian Capital at 9:30 this morning. Since you spent so much time in finance abroad, do you know anyone there? Can you feel them out for me? Find out what their CEO is like, what kind of angle they're looking for. I stared at the text. 10 seconds later, another one arrived. Haley mentioned you worked in investment banking or something, so you must know the crowd. Let me know if you can ask around. This is huge for me. Investment banking. That was how Haley had described my career to him. He didn't even know what I did. The investment firm was my company. The CEO was me. But he had no idea. No one had ever cared to find out. I didn't reply. Another text buzzed. Lindsay, did you get this? Then, look, I know you might still be bitter about the past, but that's over. Do this for me, even if it's just for Haley's sake. Bitter about the past. He actually believed my silence was because of lingering heartbreak, not because I had 40 urgent emails waiting for me at dawn. He still believed my entire world revolved around him. I locked my phone and sat at my desk. Patricia had already laid out my agenda. Lindsay, I went through the diligence files for Ignite Tech. The team found something interesting. Go on. The core technology framework for their main product, Nexus, is almost identical to the academic paper you published in the University Journal back in 2016. The conceptual overlap is over 70%. I know. The investment team thought this might be an affiliated project at first and came to me to confirm. Your name isn't listed anywhere in Ignite's documents. Of course it isn't. Patricia hesitated. If we need to initiate an intellectual property audit. No need. But Lindsay, an idea is nothing if it just sits in a notebook. At least he tried to build it. Whether he succeeded is another story. Patricia pursed her lips. I flipped through his business plan. For product lines, not a single one fully operational. Unbalanced tech team. His customer acquisition cost model was using data from 3 years ago. My phone lit up again. The family chat. Haley, Luke is on his way. Everyone cross your fingers. Then she DMs me. Lindsay, Luke said you aren't replying to his texts. Can you please just help us out this once? He's incredibly stressed. Followed by an 8-second voice note. Is your phone dead or something? Seriously, did you get my messages? I closed the app. At 8:50 a.m., Patricia peeked her head in. Lindsay, Luke Davenport from Ignite Tech is at reception. He's 40 minutes early. Should I have him wait in the lounge? Yes. Give him a glass of tap water. Got it. She took a step back, then turned around. The receptionist said, he made a call as soon as he sat down. He wasn't exactly quiet. What did he say? He told whoever was on the line, don't worry, babe. I've dealt with VC firms this size a million times. Today is just a formality. Meridian Capital had over $3.8 billion under management. And to him, it was just a formality. Patricia. Yes. Bring him in at 9:30 sharp, not a minute earlier. 04. It's 9:28, Lindsay, Patricia whispered from the doorway. I closed my financial ledger. My phone lit up. Haley's voice note. 15 seconds. Lindsay, Luke said you ignored his texts. Are you doing this on purpose? This meeting is everything to him. If you're not going to help, fine, but don't hold him back. A pause. Her tone shifted, sharp and venomous. I'm telling you, Lindsay, if Luke fails today, I'm telling Mom and Dad it's your fault. You're taking your bitter, spinster resentment out on us. When are you finally going to grow up? 15 seconds of poison without a single breath. To the world, she was a sweet victim. To me, every word was a serrated edge. Mom's call came in immediately after. Lindsay, are you picking fights with Haley again? No, Mom. Then why won't you help Luke? It's a 10-minute favor and you're making excuses. Mom, I'm at work. What's so important about your little job? Luke's company is a real business, Lindsay. Can't you see the difference? Mom, don't mom me. Let me tell you something, Lindsay. If you can't even do this for your family, don't bother coming home. You ran away the day you graduated. You didn't show up when your father had bypass surgery, and you skipped your sister's wedding 0.6 years, and you haven't done a single thing for this family. I leaned back in my chair. The September sun outside was blindingly bright. You've always been so competitive, so cold, always trying to prove you're better than Haley. What was all that struggle for? Look how lonely you are. In the background, I heard Haley's muffled voice. Mom, stop. Lindsay has her reasons. Mom sighed. Don't help him then. You've never cared about this family anyway. Click. She hung up. I set the phone down on the polished wood desk. My fingertips were completely numb, not from pain, but from gripping too hard. The day we went public on the New York Stock Exchange, I stood on that balcony watching the blue confetti rain down. Hundreds of people were cheering. The stage lights were incredibly hot. But in that moment, I wasn't thinking about the success. I was thinking, I wish Mom could see this. I had sent the video clip to the family group chat. No one replied. 2 hours later, Haley texted, Oh, did you go on a trip, Lindsay? Looks fancy. And then the chat dissolved into a discussion about what color Luke should get for his new Tesla. Lindsay, Patricia's voice broke my thoughts. It's 9:30. Mr. Davenport has been waiting for 10 minutes. Should I bring him in? I opened my eyes. I sat up straight. The pitch deck was open in front of me. Debt ratio, cash burn rate, product timeline, a request for $5 million. All of his failures laid bare in my hands. Bring him in. The sound of footsteps approached. Polished leather shoes clicking confidently on the hardwood floor. Patricia led the way. Right this way, Mr. Davenport. The door swung open. Luke stood in the doorway. His suit was perfectly tailored. He held a bound business plan. His face wore a practiced, confident smile, the kind designed to charm investors. He looked up. His eyes scanned the office, the floor-to-ceiling windows, and finally landed on me. The smile vanished. The business plan slipped an inch through his fingers. His lips parted, but his voice was strangled. Lindsay. I looked into his eyes. The distance between us across the desk was less than 6 feet. 10 years ago, when the three of us sat together, his eyes never lingered on me for a single second. Mr. Davenport, I said calmly, please take a seat. 05. Hal, what are you doing here?